Hello, Steve Arts 89. I don't know how this happened. There's a biopic on the global superstar performer Robbie Williams called Better Man. And it was produced for $110 million. It was acquired by Paramount for $25 million. It opened over the weekend. And in America, it made $1.1 million. Global box office was $10 million. So it's a huge flop. Now, what I don't understand is who thought this would be a good idea to make a biopic about Robbie Williams for $110 million, and that's just the basic production cost. That's not all the promotions and advertising and everything. I don't understand, because the twist, it's not just the danger of making a biopic about an artist, because just because people like someone's music doesn't mean they're actually going to be interested in their life and go see a film about them. It doesn't always translate. And also, although he's big in the UK, in America he's not really known. They just have not embraced Robbie. And the twist is, instead of him appearing as himself or being played by a younger actor, they have him portrayed by a CGI monkey, and no one else in that world acknowledges that he's a monkey. Everyone else is just normal human beings, but he's a monkey. I don't know how this happened. I don't know who came up with this idea and who convinced someone with money to produce it and then actually produce it. No one stopped them, and they planned to release it and no one stopped them from doing that either. And I just don't understand how this happened. I don't understand how this happened. Now, Robbie Williams, if you don't know him, because I know I don't have a lot of views, but most of them are American, usually. And you probably don't know who Robbie Williams is. He was in a UK boy band called Take That. He left. He had a solo career. He's had like more than 10 number one albums and like 10 number one singles in the UK. So he's a big international artist. He's big in Australia. He's travelled here many times, toured here. He's performed a lot of events and stuff. Everyone knows him. And I'm a fan. I've got some of his records. I haven't seen him live though. And there's a couple of stories. I'll talk about them later. But yeah, I just don't understand how this happened. I mean, if you wanted to have a scene in the film where he says he feels like a dancing monkey or something, then do a number or a scene like that, that could have been interesting in the context of the film. But to replace him for the whole film, it's weird, it's creepy. I can't not have uncanny valley moments when I look at stuff. I saw some pictures about this, and it took me a while to realise this is real. This is an actual film, a biopic film about him. They depicted him as a monkey for the whole film. I couldn't process it. I just ignored it. I just moved on to the next thing. I just couldn't engage. It was just like, what? I don't understand. And it's real. It happened, and it failed, and it flopped, and it's not a surprise. But the weird thing is, everyone who's seen the film, who's reviewed it, says it's great. Or says it's good, at least. And it probably is. And I just don't understand how this happened. And I can't stop saying that, because I'm just like baffled. I'm sitting here like, oh, this is so bad, and I just don't understand who thought this was a good idea and who let this happen. Now, as far as my experience with Robbie Williams, I tried to see him, 2 concerts I wanted to go to. One, it was so long ago, I remember looking online at the library, because I didn't have my own internet on at the time yet. That's how long ago it was. I wanted to see him. I couldn't find any good seats in Melbourne, but I could in Sydney, but I couldn't really travel to Sydney to see him, so I missed the concert. And then last minute I ended up going to Sydney to a Star Trek convention to see Jonathan Frakes. And I had trouble finding a hotel that weekend, because that was the weekend Robbie Williams was in town, and they were all booked out. I'm like, oh, for God's sakes, I end up here that weekend anyway. I could have bought a ticket and done it. So I missed him that time. Then the next time I was involved at the time, and I wasn't really, it would have been too much, too difficult to have gone to, I couldn't have justified going to the concert, and I didn't want to go behind anyone's back, so I ended up missing it. And that was really disappointing, because I really wanted to see him. So I haven't managed to see him yet, but I do have some of his albums. I like some of his songs, and I would be interested in his story if it was him being portrayed. And I just don't understand who had this idea and how it happened, and I'm just like, I just can't. I just like, really? I know. I mean, Pharrell did the Lego. His biopic was like a done with Legos and stuff like that. I get that people are trying to put spins on stuff and do interesting stuff. Like Elton John had his semi-musical biopic and all that sort of stuff. And I get that you feel like you have to have something else to make it interesting to people, because maybe the story of that person, because just because you like the music doesn't mean you're going to like the artist, and some areas they don't know them as well, like, you know, with America, with Robbie and that. So on one level I get putting a twist on it, but this is too much. And I think it's alienated people. I think just the images and the idea of it was just creepy and weird, and people, it was just too much, and just no one engaged with it. So yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this flop. And I think it's just really sad and could have been avoided so easily. It was so obvious that this was not going to work. I don't know how it happened. And if you know how it happened, please explain it to me.